Test. Hey, how we doing, guys? It is June 23rd, the year of our Lord, 2022, and we are back for another Lunch Talk Live, and I'm joined by my very special guest host, right? Laurie,
Guest
you are
host.
my guest host, but coming in as the co-host for the show, I'm excited to have Laurie here. I hope she wants to do this even more. Laurie, say hi.
Hello. It's nice to be back again, from last week.
Absolutely. We enjoyed you on the show last week. All right, so listen, we have a special guest for you today, Josh Rangel, who will be on the show here momentarily. He's currently on site in Iowa. They're doing a pick, and he'll be jumping on anytime. We will be back in the next few seconds, and we're going to start to get into this and talk about mentorship, the challenges that we face as founders and leaders in our organization. So be back in 30 seconds. Stick around. Love it. Thank you very much, Braden. Got my Topo Chico. Laurie, did I ever tell you how we got that music?
No, you didn't, but I love the way it starts off the show's energy.
Yeah, no, totally. So we actually, my brother's a musician, and he had actually created for us some original copy. And I was like, hey, I really need some music, right? Because just finding something that's ours and not having problems with copyrights and everything else. He built something, and it went so well, their band actually used it for one of their big singles. And I was like, come on, dude. So I was really excited about getting that one. But then what was really great about it was there was another piece of music that didn't get produced, and he's at the level like, he's a signed recording artist. And so he's at the level that when something gets picked up and produced, once that, then the label owns it, right? So he can't share it, right? He's like, well, this one didn't go anywhere, and I can give it to you, and I'll just redo it for you. And I was like, yes, that's perfect. So, anyways, that's how we got it. So that's original. That's an original, lunch talk music. So, anyways, how you guys doing? Do us a favor, drop a hashtag live if you are watching live. We appreciate it. You're here. I don't know how many are watching today that are founders that have created, or small business owners, have done this in the past. If you're a small business owner, if you have a company today, you're really going to enjoy this conversation with Josh. Let us know right now in the chat if that is you. Are you an owner? Are you a business builder? If you're a builder, tell us you're a builder. If you are a leader in your organization and you see the value in listening to entrepreneurs and learning from their journey, let us know. Drop leader in there. We'd love to have it out there. Laurie, small business owner yourself.
Yes. I'm sorry. What you cut out there for a second. Can you, if there was a question, can you repeat it?
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, no problem. Laurie, what I was saying was, no, I'm sorry about that. What I wanted to find out from you was, as a small business owner, you are a small business owner. We talked about this. We talked about last week what drove you into this. But how long have you been a small business owner yourself?
Oh, geez. Probably about 22 years, right around 2000. I was just like, this is not, like, me being in corporate is just not the right fit. There's too many things I want to change, so I'll just go do it on my own. So, pretty much close to 22 years now. It's a long time. I've seen a lot change and happen over those 22 years too, with the the online space, really opening things up for people.
No, absolutely. And in that time, 22 years is a long time. That's awesome. So, when in the process of being an owner and being a small business owner, being a founder, what have you found to be the greatest impacts in growing your skill sets and in your business in your particular role?
Hanging around with the right people, surrounding yourself with the right people. I think that is one of the best things that I ever learned, that I heard once upon a time. And I remember just thinking, like, the first time I ever heard that, you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. I just thought, like, wow, I started like looking around and like, okay, I guess I need different friends if I want to go to a certain level. And I've also noticed that with each level that my business has gotten to, it's been like I need different people in my life, to teach me, to share with me, to be mentors. The exact thing that we're going to be talking about today. And also just to, not that I want everybody to agree with me, or I want to agree with everybody that I'm hanging around with. I actually want that diverse conversation, because that just helps me have like that depth of knowledge. That's kind of where I think that's mine. What about you?
No, I agree 100%. One of the things that I have found, I've told people this, the greatest advice I can give anybody who's looking to grow in their life, number one, get into coaching, like find
Yes.
mentorship. And that's one of the
Yes.
things I think that I had this conversation with Josh, who will be on shortly, by the way. Let me tell you the beauty of what we do live, and I love it. And let me tell you why I love it. Things do not go as planned. That is life. That is business. This is the way it works. And I love that we learn this because we learn how to work around it. So Donnie right now is working with Josh and Aaron, and they're working at getting the technical issues figured out to get them onto the show. And these guys are so committed to be guests today that they're doing it on site. They're on site and they're trying to get themselves going in the truck. So Josh, Aaron, you guys do what you need to do. Don't worry about it. But as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as a builder, a lot of times we go into it and we feel that we have to do this alone, right, Laurie? We think we're alone in this process. And one of the greatest lessons I learned from my own wife was, for years I'm looking like I need, I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had more people pouring into me and helping me through this process. And it's like I always feel alone. I'm alone. I'm alone. Well, the truth is that you are and you're not. First off,
Yeah.
this journey is not supposed to be taken by everybody. That's why that's why
Yeah.
that's why you're a founder.
Not
That's
not
why,
yeah. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur.
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And
Hmm.
the other part of this is that mentorship is everywhere. Mentorship
Yes.
is everywhere, but you have to find it, and it's not always an individual. And one day my wife told me, she said, Rigo, maybe it's time for you to stop looking for mentorship and maybe start offering mentorship.
Ooh,
And
very
all of a
wise.
sudden, oh yeah, it was huge, because for me, when she said that, I realized the greatest way that I'm going to be able to find mentorship is to find ways to mentor others. And in that process, I started finding people that wanted to be a part of this or mentor or give back. And then you start to realize, how can I help build somebody else? How can I talk about a different subject? How can I bring up the topic of, like, for instance, Lori, with public speaking, right?
Hmm.
How can we do that? All of a sudden, well, let me go find an expert in public speaking. So what happens, Lori? I bring you
That's how
on, you
that's
right,
how
and
you and
then
I
I'm
met.
and that's right. And then I'm getting mentored.
Hmm.
I'm learning from that experience. And then I realized this a couple years ago. The mentorship's everywhere. It's in books. It's in an audiobook. It's in a study. It's in a mastermind. It's in a
A
coach,
movie.
a
There's been a couple of
movie.
movies that I
Yes.
would say,
Yes.
Greater is a movie about a football player, and I'm not a sports fanatic, so I don't remember what his name is, but that was a phenomenal movie. Another movie that I really like, and it was based in Australia, and it was Cliffy. And it was based on this marathon runner who was actually just a rancher. And like sometimes, like we benefit from not knowing, like what, like how things are. And he ended up running some ultra marathon, like in overalls and work boots, because he was, oh, I just want to run this. And so just to see his determination. So I think movies is also, and the movies that I'm sharing are movies that are based on true stories. But those have, I think movies are also great mentors, to add to that list.
A lot of times and this is one of the things that I almost called that finding this. I almost called this particular episode finding mentorship, like in the oddest areas. And listening to Josh talk as we spoke prior to this program was hearing how he was finding these little areas of mentorship and guidance through his friends, his family, through his faith, and through those that believed in his vision and surrounded what his team is today. So, anyways, congratulations, Donnie. You are amazing. We now have Josh Rangel online. So we're gonna go ahead and bring him in. Yep. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Appreciate it, guys.
Hey, Josh.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on the program, man. Talk to me. Where are you at right now? Tell.
I'm in the middle of Iowa, no man's land. So, of course, it's been a little hectic trying to get everything squared away with Wi-Fi and, of course, the streaming live. But looking forward to speaking with you guys today.
Excited to have you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Sorry. Okay, Donnie's back. Listen, Don, 11 minutes you weren't running the board. All right. So I got used to it. So, anyways, and Donnie, why don't you give yourself a little round of applause for getting this fixed for us? Thank you so much. Listen, one of the things I love about we have a great audience here, Josh. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things we were talking about before you got in was this is such an example of what it's like as a business owner, right? As an entrepreneur. Like the lessons we learn every day. I mean, look at this, right? We had a program started at 1. You guys were on well ahead and we had problems. We had technical issues. We couldn't get it going. We didn't freak out. We passed it over. Donnie took it, walked out of the studio, and we figured it out and we got you guys on. And it's one of the I love about this event that we do right here every week is that I can't fake this. We're being who we are. Things go wrong. We get past it. Tell me, how many times has this happened in your career where you think you're going to move this way? How many times have you gone to a job and you think it's going to go right and it goes completely the opposite direction and you turn it into something positive at the end?
Oh, yeah. That's most, as you know, wind in general, right? Yesterday, we switched it up, decided to get to site at 5 in the morning. We were chasing a couple windows at 7, and unfortunately, right, it didn't work out. And we decided as a collective group that we were going to do it again this morning, right? Waking up at 3:15, being away an hour and 50 minutes from site, and having our round talk table, toolbox top, then getting out to pad, and we chased it for 4 hours and finally caught a good 30-minute window to get some rotors down. So definitely having to look at the positives, but also being flexible and adjusting and being able to pivot without downplaying the morale of, hey, we came out here early and we didn't get to find anything. And of course, looking at it in the broad perspective to let's go get it again and knock it out tomorrow. So thankfully that's what happened today.
One of the things that I love talking about and I love to bring into this program is the concept of mentorship. And so we talked, you and I, and I'd love for you to share your story, briefly with the group. But most importantly, in through this process, how you started to find areas of, as a small business owner, started to areas of mentorship, how you started to feed your mind, how you fed your spirit, how you fed yourself to take yourself where you are today. So before we kind of get into that, talk to us a little bit, share with the audience who you are and how you got to this place.
Yeah, so of course, had a vision early on in life that I played golf in college. So I either want to be a professional golfer, a very successful businessman. And so I first got my shot back in 2013 with an energy company. Everyone knows Spencer Ogden. So started there and was working on an integrated gasification combined cycle down in Meridian, Mississippi with Southern Company. And so was able to really work on both sides of the business, right? Being in the field with the guys. That's what I'm doing right now. I love being out there, with electrical, mechanical, civil engineers, operators, laborers, project managers, CMs, but then actually going in with the executives, right? Looking at the power purchasing agreements, looking at it from a utility perspective, looking at it from a developer's, the EPCs, and then as you look at it, from construction side, really is assessing when, the higher ups are saying, "Hey, production, production, production," like, guys, there's nothing but rain in the forecast for the next 7 days. We're not going to be able to get anything. And so just being able to provide that realistic approach, but also being out in the field to support the technicians and the staff out there, and letting them know, hey, I'm in your corner trying to go get more work after this job, right? You always get those questions. Well, the next 4 months, where's the next job going to be? So being able to delegate between both sides so that we can work collectively as a group to not only be successful, but also, look forward to the future and what we can provide as we continue to go that route. So essentially, as I was there at Spencer Ogden, saw the opportunities. I love being a sponge, and saw what the supply and demand was doing. And I was doing my research and development, and I saw that renewables was doing this, right? And then it was like natural gas and then oil and gas. And so at the time, I had told my old boss, "Man, we really need to, focus in on renewables." Like, you're doing a fantastic job. You're the rookie global biller.
Yeah, stay focused, right?
Yeah.
Don't change path.
Exactly. And I was like, well, I got here from, identifying niche markets. So this is something that we should go after. And so fast forward, I was able to open up a power and industrial division for a company called Miller Jones. And first weekend, right, got 2 projects started in Minnesota and North Dakota. And that was back with Mammut. So I saw two different things, right? One project that was going exceptionally well, and then one project that wasn't going so well. So really identifying the do's and don'ts, especially from, being in the field, right? You're going into cold climates, and not everybody wants to go work, when it's 0 or -5, -10. But also when there's issues happening on site, components not being flown. And of course, our 3 mainstays at Rangel Renewables: safety, quality, and production, but being able to provide that value, back to our customers and clients. And so from that, really started assessing, I know I can do this. I certainly don't come from money and wanting to be a difference maker, right? Our vision for the business is leaving a legacy and being a blessing, right? Speaking with our staff today at the Toolbox Talk, what is our why? Why is it that we do what we do, and moving forward in a positive light? And so it's been a truly humbling, fantastic, just extremely blessed. From back in 2019, December, I had 3 individuals and 2 others. And then by the middle of March of 2020, we had 103. Knowing that 2020 was a tumultuous year as well, we worked out of the 12 months, 10 months was, day and night work. So round the clock, operations, and making sure that everything was, moving forward. And then, battling COVID and individuals going down, and keeping, staff safe, and making sure that, we're keeping everyone as healthy as possible given the circumstances. So, now that we're, in 2022, we've done over 1 gigawatt of installation, a lot of repower work. Say about 75% repower, 25% new construction. We've been doing a lot of maintenance work, a lot of blade swaps as of late. So just in a nutshell, really been an exciting ride. It's been awesome to see the growth, but also, the staff that has been with us from the beginning, and really, seeing their excitement and their successes. So I can't, explain how happy I am for, the staff, but collectively, the culture, that we're building together.
That's awesome. And I want to go back to a comment you said, and I want to give Laurie an opportunity to jump in here too. But talk to me about, you said, I want to make an impact. I wanted this business to mean more than just something you were building. that's really where I want to dive into, because how did you get to this point? Where did you look at your mission, your mission goal for yourself and for the company? And I've met Aaron and I've met a few others in your organization, and they're they have the same vision. They're talking the same talk. They're walking that walk. Like it is obvious when meeting your core team that you guys are all looking down the same path. How did you get to this place for yourself that said, I want to create this company with this vision? Talk about where did that vision come from for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. And of course, leading, our foundation with, my faith. One thing that I get to do, which is my favorite thing to do, is the Monday morning meetings that we have with management. Get to pray over all of our staff, right? And making sure that that's at the forefront of what we do. But now, as we've been growing, I've implemented that with, all of our sites. So our project coordinator, hey, I want you guys to start out with a word of prayer. And I always like to end our prayers with, Lord, if anyone's going through anything that we may not know of, you would be their peace, that their joy that surpasses all of our understanding, right? Because a lot of times when you're in the field, things do go on, behind closed doors, in the personal lives, and you don't know about, what's going on. But unfortunately, that might be a mistake that happens on site where someone cuts their hand or someone gets seriously injured. And we just want to make sure that we continue to make those conscious efforts to say, hey guys, is everyone doing all right? Outside of just work, let's make sure that we're doing okay behind closed doors, because that's where, really hits home, at least for me, going back to, I always say, and I always pray about it. One day, I know the business will be a global entity. I know we'll be, all across the globe. But it starts with that solid foundation, right? Anything built on sand can quickly go away. And I've had it, where guys come up to me and say, "Man, we heard about you guys, but I guess you guys aren't a fly by night. You're still here, so congrats." But also knowing that it's leading by example, leading the right way. When I get out to site, even one of our customers, I'm asking, with one of the head honchos, provide some constructive criticism. What are things that we can do better collectively so that I can also improve what we're doing in the field? And so going back right after that meeting to our text, hey guys, we all came out the same way, and I'm going to treat you with the same amount of respect. And so it really has been, like I said, it's humbling, and it's awesome that I've been able to hire some of my friends that I've known, Aaron, since high school. We'll have a couple pictures. We were a lot thinner, and staff will joke
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. We got the. I think we all. I don't know. I was just talking to Laurie. I don't think Laurie's had that problem, but maybe you and I.
There you go.
Laurie, go ahead. You have some questions for Josh?
Gosh, I got so many questions, having come from, coach so many executives, in my time. You talk a lot about your culture and also like feedback, getting feedback from your team. I've always been an advocate for, like, at the end of a project, what went well, what didn't go well, what would we do differently? Where did you come up with that you would implement that into your company in general?
Yeah, so it goes even, previous to even having my business,
Good
but
doing.
just even going to certain projects that I was on to help other, friends that they were opening up their own businesses or remodeling homes or speaking with customers, that can be aggressive at times, right? But killing them with kindness, with a smile, and making sure that they're happy, but also knowing when things go well, making sure that you implement them into those projects so that you can see those successes, right? We've done crawfish boils, we're doing barbecues, you know, PB and J's, because you're working long hours and you want to make sure that everyone's hydrated and fed. But also when mistakes do happen, they will happen, and no one's perfect. But being the support, how do you mitigate? Let's improve our processes and procedures. That way, if something happens where we had an issue, someone didn't put a pin, in a hitch, and then it hit the back of the truck, and then it's an all stop. But when you have four cranes running, you don't want those cranes, stopping. And so,
Right, right.
really, you know, providing that positive implementation, but it comes from leadership, right? And it's not, hey,
Yep.
iron fist, and you're cussing everybody out and thinking that things are going to change, because that doesn't always work, right? And it's not um, the right way, at least in my perspective of how I want to lead.
Right.
But it's having a solid plan of attack and making sure that's very strategic. That way, when you do go out into the field, everyone, once again, our mainstays of safety, quality, and production, are hit at all cylinders.
So
That's really nice.
he mentioned something. You mentioned something, Josh, about leadership, and it's so important, right? For any organization, we know that's where it's coming from. Where have you found inspiration in how to guide your own team? How have you grown in your leadership role for yourself, right? Because we all have to learn sometimes the hard way, but none of us get here without a journey. And
Right.
so, and as we get to know more of your journey, what put you in this place today as a leader within your organization, and help our audience understand what what helped your mind grow, and what did you look for as you were coming up and building yourself as a leader?
Yeah, no, great question. A lot of times we go through life and there's instances that can either define you or refine you, right? And so, speaking about Spencer Ogden, I had taken a $17,000 pay cut to, join the business, and me really identifying, hey, if you want to open up your own business within energy, you're going to have to make a lot of personal sacrifices. And that came with sleeping on, a friend's couch for 3 months, and, having a Dodge Ram that had, bald tires. And finally one day, the back left passenger tire went out, and I had my spare on it. The very next morning, my back right tire had a baseball, that finally popped on the side wall. And I remember sitting there talking with my parents, and my dad saying, "Hey, you can always come back home. You've tried it. At least know that you did, and you can come get, a job back home." And I thanked them, and I got off the phone.
You can quit, right? Like, we love you so much, we're gonna give you permission to quit. Really, that's what, all in love, but that's what they were doing, right?
Right. And so I remember sitting there, and as difficult as it was, right, those situations are very temporary, although feeling permanent, like it's the end of the world. I remember my bank account was like negative $220. I had $40 cash in my pocket. I needed to go buy a wrench and a socket to take my tire off, to then go return it to get the cash back to go get a tire. But
Yep.
sitting there, just raising my hands on that curb and saying, Lord, thank you for this moment, because I hope that one day it'll be instrumental for the individual that I'm supposed to meet here in 3 years, in 5 years, when I do have my business that I know will be successful. One thing that I learned early on in life is words are powerful, right? So speaking that life and existence into your situation. So when I say that moment didn't define it, was because I knew it was temporary. It refined me, the person that I knew God had in store for me for the future staff and the future, individuals I want to impart to.
I love that, Josh. And it's sort of something that I like to say is that, everything is happening for me and not to me. And that's exactly what you just shared with that
Hmm.
story. Thank you. And it's true.
That
Like
that's it. That is true. That's
yeah,
powerful, Lori.
you're not defined by these moments. It's like, I love how you just like, you said, this is happening for me, for whoever I'm supposed to become or meet or influence a year from now.
Right.
We had a question that was dropped in here, and it's a good one. It says, "How do you find time as a leader, or as a business builder? How do you find time to grow, be mentored while building a business?" Now, I have a particular answer for that, but I'm gonna let you guys give your opinion on this. How did you, and how do you today, or do you, in terms, like, do you look and seek, how do you find time for mentorship while building this business? And you've told us your growth in the short time frame. Anyone who has built anything before any level business knows that is a tremendous amount of growth and takes a tremendous amount of your time away. So How do you do that, Josh?
I know it's a great question. It goes back to, sure, that I do my best to, go to church. Haven't been the best, especially with the business, growing and moving so quickly. So, certain things happening, right? Serving and I understand how how I learn things.
We'll give Josh a second.
Yeah.
Hours,
Here we go. We're going to give you a second. We started running into some little technical difficulties. We'll go ahead and bring you back and see if that works. Josh, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. You went full robo on us. Uh-oh. There you go. All right, we got you back.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you went full robo on us. You went
There
full
you go.
robo. So the question that we had asked, and you were in the process of answering, Dave said, "Oh, alien abduction." What he had asked was where do you find the time? Where do you find the time? So, like I said, I'll give it back to you, Josh, and you can answer that question.
Yeah, so, it's, when you have these long drives, coming out to Iowa, I had plenty of hours, to identify things that I wanted to listen to. In the mornings, if I'm going to work out, trying to listen to, some music, but also going back to who I, like to, lean on. But then also, I have my brother, right? And we throw a lot of ideas out at one another. We're connected by blood, but we're very different, and that's one thing that really has connected us because at the beginning of the vision and the business, very aggressive, and my brother's more conservative, right? So at the beginning, it's like, man, I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. But now that we're here and we have staff and different projects going on and different things of that nature, it's being more conservative because I want to continue to gain, but I'm not willing to risk it all to lose it by over leveraging or taking on too much more than I can handle. And of course, I talked about want to open up a crane company and provide the full turnkey for, our line of service, opening up a GWO training facility. All that takes time, right? I want to conquer the world, and I'm like, let's go after it. And
let's get it all. Let's get it all right now. This is go. I'm with you. I get it. Right. You can only go as I had a great a coach that I have today. He said, Rigo, how much output can match your input? And it's the reality. You can invest in as much as you want. And one of the things I'll make a comment to this is there's a lot of people that look out and they find masterminds, they find coaches, they find opportunities to get involved with. These are all absolutely critical and good ways to grow. But at the same time, how much input are you trying to bring in your business? Can you actually provide the output? And for that, I can take a Pinto and put a big old 350 in it. It doesn't mean the car is going to go faster if the car doesn't have the capability to manage that output, right? And
right,
this is one of the things that I had to look at my business and start to reconfigure that I can only do so much alone, which that's a huge area for a lot when you start to realize that you'll never do it alone. You found and you build alone. You may feel alone in that process, but you'll never build a business alone. Period. End of story. And there isn't one company on a trading floor somewhere that that the leader is alone. He's got a team around him and they're people that are helping this whole organization grow. But
oh yeah,
when I look at areas like mentorship, and you tell me if you feel this way and on this. But for myself, I have that same like you, going on drives, reading books through an audio process, because a lot of times this is really good if I can get that windshield time finding a coach that'll challenge me. And I actually just put a post on this one yesterday because I thought it was going to be good for this particular call. And I wanted to remind people of that episode. But when we look and understand that we as individuals, especially our types, right? If you're an entrepreneur, founder, builder, a lot of times you're already used to stepping out of your comfort zone and doing many things that are uncomfortable, even when everything around you says not to, right? Everything in reality says that a plane shouldn't be able to get off the ground, but it does, right? And we know this because of the science. But for us, when we look at what a compounding effect is and understanding that we've got to keep pushing, and it doesn't matter if people are telling us we're doing great or not, we just have to keep pushing forward, and we're not going to know till we get down the line. And everything says quit, right? You got parents that say, look, you've done it. You already did more than everybody else. Well, yeah, but that's exactly when the growth happens, right? The growth doesn't happen in the easy part. It happens on the couch. It happens on the running on the ball tires. It happens in these stories, and that's not going to be the first, right, Josh? It's
Right.
going to continue. It's just there's going to be levels of growth. And Laurie, you said these things don't happen to us; they happen for us. At every
Yeah.
point when I am personally and with this company, when I'm seeing that I'm hitting one of the hardest points of my life at that time. And funny enough, you ever notice that each time you run through an obstacle, it's never as hard as the last one? Like, right? It's not an accident. They're
Right.
supposed to get tougher, right? They're supposed to be more challenging because you learned from the last one, and now it's no longer the same process. But they are happening for us because this is a moment where we either decide to stay stagnant because we're comfortable because growth hurts, right? Building is not easy, becoming better is not easy, or we push through, and what's going to come on the other side is going to be the next level of who we're supposed to be. And I have found that for myself, finding time for mentorship, finding time to grow, finding time to get coached, it's not so much a can I find time? I have to.
Have to.
It isn't an option, because if I don't, then everyone else suffers. I don't grow, my business doesn't grow. But more importantly, it has to happen. It just
It
has
has
to,
to have.
right?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
My brother
Completely
always
agree.
says, if it's important to you, you will make time for it, right? And
That's right.
our lives hustle and bustle, and it's like, oh man, I meant to work out today. Oh, I meant to call this individual, but I tell you what, if a contract's on the line and you know that it's at 3 o'clock, guess what? All hands on deck, all the staff's going to be there, and we're going to make sure to execute, flawlessly. And so, couldn't agree with you more there, Rigo.
And I think it also comes down
Look,
to like around who are you surrounding yourself with? Because we keep, as entrepreneurs, we keep going higher. We keep taking that next step. We keep getting uncomfortable. We show up at 3 a.m. to do a project because of the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. It's that energy, and I think just like Josh, you said, it's a collective.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Very nice.
so as you started to continue going through this journey, and you find areas to mentor yourself, how do you inspire your team? How did you get the team to believe in your vision? I think that's an important aspect. I'd love to hear your little nuggets on this one, brother.
Yeah, so we actually, I had implemented a sales and vision board back at the end of 2020, going into 2021. And at the end of the month, I always have a meeting with each individual that's in management, because I want to make sure that they're on pace with their which I have in our business. Not only your professional goals, but your personal goals, right? I want to know what you want to become as a full individual, right? Because someone's being really successful at home, and then oh, I'm not hitting all my metrics at work, and so that affects individuals. But it goes back into my prayer every Monday morning. I'm always saying, Lord, thank you for our future offshore vessels. I thank you for our future onshore cranes. I know wholeheartedly that we will
Hmm.
accomplish those goals, but it's hearing that every week. And I had an individual ask me, Josh, it just seems so repetitive. Like you say that, but I know that you have a plan and there's a strategy behind it. But don't you think it just kind of, gets kind of old after a while? And I had to tell them, I didn't get here by just saying one day, Lord, I hope I start a business and it's successful. Amen. And then voila, 7, 8 years down the line, it happened. It's staying consistent, right? My brother likes to talk about an example of chopping, at the wood block, because time after time, right, that axe is going to get dull and you have to continue to sharpen it. And Lori, as you were saying, right, it's who you surround yourself with to stay sharp, right? You want to make sure that your circle can bring you up and uplift you when you're trying to think of an idea and say, hey, I thought about this. I'm trying to strategize. Have you gone through a certain situation? Can you provide some insight? But it's having that, once again, collective group that can provide that insight and say, hey, maybe try this or maybe try that. One of the learning lessons I have taken is, the art of leveraging. I, had
Hmm.
some projects and, of course, banks are never your friend. I didn't come up with an equity firm saying, "Hey, here's $1 million a month. Go figure it out." But I had to start. I was chasing LED retrofits for CPS Energy. I was getting in man lifts, 30, 50 feet in the air, trying to figure out, what does this do and how does this work? And I got to make sure the power's off. And that turned into solar power, on the residential side. And then I'm saying, hey guys, we're gonna go do wind turbines, and that's my heart. That's what I love doing. And certainly scratching the head, like, so you were chasing LED lights, you were chasing residential solar, knocking door to door in 100-degree weather, and you're go build wind turbines. Oh, okay, go ahead. We'll see you down the road. And
Hey,
then
sometimes we got to do what we got to do, right?
No,
So
you,
that we can get to
yeah,
that dream.
for sure.
that's it. And you know what's interesting is, and we found this for ourselves. And I don't think people always realize that a lot of times that they're not actually being supportive.
Oh yeah,
And I get it. And there's folks that well, listen. You're always, first off, you're gonna have lovers and haters. Like, it's just that simple. And it's all right. Like, that's the path. This is not an easy path, but when we were going through this a few years back, and especially when COVID hit and the recession started happening with our group, and we started seeing challenges, I immediately broadened and started looking at other options. And that's one of the things I've told my team. I said, listen, our purpose here is to create an opportunity for people to grow. My heart is for young people and giving them leadership and mentorship opportunities and letting them learn lessons that I don't believe are being taught anymore, period, in corporate America. I don't believe they're being taught in most organizations. And I don't think they're being equipped with the right skills. And I don't think I have a person that works for me over 25, to be honest with you. They're
that's
all they're all young, and I love their passion, but for me it's about solving problems and creating legacy. And there was a period where I wasn't sure if our business was going to make it at that year 2 mark to 3. And I said, look, if the market wants snow cones, then we're going to provide them the best snow cones on the planet and be $1 billion snow cone company. I don't care what we do. It's about solving problems. That's what we are. We're problem solvers, right? Making money is just part of the process. When people say do what you love, I love helping people. If all of a sudden everybody loves snow cones, okay. I'm not kidding, Judge. I'll have a snow cone suit. I don't care. Like that's what it's about, right? And I think a lot of times people get caught up in how do I make money versus how do I help people?
right.
Yeah.
How do I solve a problem and let everything else work itself out? I heard something recently and I loved it. When you keep your eyes on the pennies, the dollars make sense. They start to come together. And for me, that wasn't just something in terms of how you manage your budget, but it meant pay attention to the little details that just matter in what you're building. Everything else will come when you're authentic. It'll come. when you start to bring solutions for people and people know that you're real in what you do, your business will grow. And if it's not ready to grow, maybe you're not ready for it to grow. And you need to
Right.
go look at why you're not growing and find that area of your life to grow in. I don't want to say grow 1,000 times, but I just did. But the point is that's where I'm getting like a smirk from Donnie over here, behind the board. But anyways, no, I love this conversation. Listen, if you're just joining us, first off, I want to thank you for being here and understand that we want you to know more about this, and we'd love for you to join us more often as we have this program. So please do us a favor and just text me. Text me at 316-799-8052. Join our community, and it lets everybody know when we're going live. That's it. I just let you guys know when we're going live, who our guest is. And just to remind you again today, I am graced with the presence of Miss Laurie Ann, who is co-hosting the show with me today, and I hope to see her on here more often. And again, our guest is Josh Rangel of Rangel Renewables. Josh and I met some time back, but what I was really inspired by was his story. I love listening to the story of entrepreneurs and founders, and more importantly, it was Josh's vision, and that's what I absolutely fell in love with, is the vision that he has for his company, and what he sees as legacy for him and what he's doing. And I believe that Josh will continue to find success because Josh is doing this for a greater purpose, and everything else will come along with it. And along the path, we find alternate routes, right, Josh? How many times have we looked and said, hey, that might be a good business model? And we move in it, and we're like, never mind, shift back, right? Let me go try this. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we've done the same thing. And you're like, I looked at it, but what can we learn from it? How many things have you learned from the other businesses that you decided, I'm not going to keep this up?
Right. No, definitely. And it happens. And it goes back to, when you're, I remember I needed $5,000 and I go to the bank and I'm like, well, I have this old truck that maybe I can borrow against it. And it's getting creative. A lot of times, when you're a business owner and you're either trying to make payroll or there's bills that have to get paid and things are starting to, add up, and you're like, well, I'm not going to get paid in 60 days, but I have this other job. And if I can, get in it, I need to, come up with this amount of money. And I'll never forget, the young lady looked at me and she's like, you just seem that you're so passionate about what you do. You're probably going to come in here, in a few years, and you're going to laugh about, needing this $5,000. It's going to be a drop in the bucket. And I'll never forget that. And when, I saw her, it had been some time, and she was like, remember we had that conversation? Like, I can thankfully say, because she denied it. She's like, I can't approve it. I'm like, but I need the $5,000,
Yeah.
But I really appreciated, her giving me that positive feedback to say, as you stated, Rigo, there's a lot of times where guys, they're not necessarily encouraging you to go have this, business mindset and take the risk and the leap of faith. It's like, wait, what are you doing? You're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's probably not going to work out. I just go keep your regular job,
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. You get it, right? And you have to learn how to get it. I think, you have to understand that this path is not supposed to be easy, but this is with leadership as a whole. So for those of you guys listening right now, like, understand, finding other entrepreneurs like this, like myself, like Laurie, like Josh, and getting to know them, following others. There's so many wonderful influencers that are out there today. Reading, like, huge. I heard somebody say, readers are leaders, but not all, it's not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. That's one of the things that are absolutely true. Reading and studying other people's lives, listening to those stories, finding good podcasts, getting yourself into a position in a place that it becomes habit, that you're always continuously learning from others, is the number one way to grow. And so if you're in a leadership role today, know that you're not supposed to be doing this by yourself. Find those mentors. And remember, it's not always a person. You find mentorship in many things. You find mentorship in who you surround yourself with, in listening to how they're building and growing. Like I said, to other entrepreneurs, other leaders, other builders. This is your mentors. John Maxwell is a mentor to me. He don't know me, but he's a mentor to me, right? Because he's got great leadership skills. There's a lot of mentors like that are out there. They don't necessarily have to be connected with you to touch and influence your life, but connecting with your faith, connecting with your family, connecting with your friends, and understanding that who you have in that and your corner, it's going to matter. And even sometimes to John, they could love you with everything in you and give you the wrong advice to say, hey, it's okay to quit, and you got to know, keep pushing forward. Josh, this has been a great conversation. I'd love to give you an opportunity to leave our group with some thoughts. And Laurie, I would love to let you do the same and, ask any final questions to get out. So, Laurie, go ahead.
Well, I do have a final question for Josh, and since we've been talking a lot about reading, what's a book that's been really impactful for you along your journey? If you had to give one or two books.
This is gonna sound, cliche, but I always start with the Bible. There's a few scriptures that I always go by, and my favorite Bible verse is, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me." And that's where when the going gets tough, right? There's times where things can get a bit stacked up. When times can get difficult, right? When you're first starting out and you're like trying to find your way, and going back to surrounding yourself with the right circle and saying, hey, Lord, I'm here. I'm trying to do all the right things, not the wrong things. What can I do to improve myself, to be successful, and to find the right avenues, to shake the right hands, to knock on the correct doors. That's one thing for me. Early on, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. By
Great
Mr.
book.
Yeah.
Great book.
Great book. Yes.
And then I'm bad with The Gentleman from the Wolf of Wall Street.
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah. We've gone through that book with our business development.
Straight line leadership and straight line. Yeah, it's a great program.
Oh yeah. And so having that, but going back to what you said there, Rigo, investing time into our staff, doing a 1 hour development to say, hey, what are some questions? What are some items when you're getting on the phone, you're talking to somebody like, no, we don't need you guys. Like, you're too small, and you got to have billions of dollars to be able to work with us. But then it's those times that it's, well, actually, we need you, and let's see if we can use you. And so one thing that to leave off with is getting creative, finding a leverage point to be successful, strategize, really be impactful with your time. Managing your time is super important, especially as an entrepreneur, because
Absolutely. And I also think that leadership is not what you do, it's who you become. And who we are today is not who we're going to be 1 year, 2 year, 5 years from now. And Josh, one of the things that I hear when I'm listening to your story is that all of these, like sleeping on the couch, the tires, going to the bank. I really thought that lady at the bank was going to have a different ending to that story, but you're doing it for the autobiography.
Yeah, that's it. You're just writing the story, the Rangel story. Josh, thank you so much for being here. Great comment, Laurie. That is so true. It's who you become, and I think all of this it's an amazing. I'll tell you what, it's not something somebody says, oh, I think I want to start a business. I go, I don't know. Listen, I can't see my life any other way because I'm unemployable. That's just what I've come to realize. Like, I am unemployable. I've been doing this too long as a founder creator, but I would not recommend everybody go jump into this. This is a tough life, but the journey is amazing. And what we learn, and this is why we do this show, you guys, what we learn through this process has so much value. I know it does because I see it in the lives of those around me, and I see it in the lives around Josh, and I know Laurie has these same stories and how we can impact others. So hopefully, Josh, you've enjoyed your time here. Thank you so much. I want to let you go. I know you got to get back to work. Thanks for doing this on site. And Don, let's give Josh a round of applause. Here we go.
Thanks, Josh.
Of course, thank you.
It's really nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Josh. We'll talk again soon. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And for Laurie and I, we just want to thank you very much for being here. This means the world, and I hope that this opportunity to listen to Josh's story and listen to Laurie and myself has impacted you and given you any insight. So listen, we're back here every Thursday. This is what we do. This Lunch Talk Live is our Lunch Talk Live series to the contagious leadership aspect of what we do at MW Partners. And what we're trying to do is bring you this opportunity to hear other stories, listen to how they're building and growing and mentoring and teaching, and give you an opportunity to grow yourself. So listen, if you like this, please share with others. If you want to get on our list to find out when we go live next, do me a favor and just text me, 316-799-8052. It's coming up on the bottom. And join us again next week for another amazing guest. Had it confirmed last week. I just double checking. If it is going to be who I think it is, you're going to be pumped. He's been here before, but he's coming with fire next week. Maybe that's a little hint. So I just want to let you know. Laurie, thank you so much once again.
Thank you. That was fun. We'll do it again.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here, everyone. Donnie, go ahead and send us out. Have a great day. God bless. And I will see you guys next Thursday right here, 1 p.m. Central Time. Talk to you later.